Quality Land is a funny dystopia about big data and the effects it will have and already has on our daily lives. A lot of the things that happen in the book, for example, that the shop will send you products which it knows you want and you don't even have to order it. It is actually based on something that Amazon kind of does, which they call anticipatory shipping, which means if the algorithm thinks that you will want this at some time in the future, they already ship it to a warehouse close to you. A lot of the things that happen in Quality Land are based on things that are already happening and just take them one or two steps further. You know, there's this famous quote, "The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed." I guess that makes a lot of sense. And that's also something I wanted to show in Quality Land. With a lot of sci-fi, you have this like even level of technology, like the whole society uses the same tech. And I don't think that's gonna happen. I think we will have a huge gap, a technological gap in this world right now, and we will have that even more in the future. So the people who can afford it will have better tech and will have tech that is not based on collecting your data and spying on you, but you pay for it. The cheap kind of tech that will suck your time from you, you know, like you pay with paying attention, basically. And you know, we're working on a TV adaptation of Quality Land right now, and so we came up with an introductory scene for Peter Jobless, for the main character, where he is shaving with his modern electrical shaver, but he has to stop every once in a while to watch a commercial on the screen of his device before he can continue shaving. You know, I started writing Quality Land in English, though this is obviously not my mother tongue, to detach it from any real place, because Quality Land could be everywhere, you know? Because the pun with Quality Land and Equality Land, it wouldn't work in German either. So there are a lot of, even in the final German version, there are a lot of English words. One of the first ideas for Quality Land was that it is so focused on economic success that it would rebrand itself and that it would lose its name, that it kind of would lose its origins, right? That the people would rename themselves after their economic profession, and then the country would rename itself in Quality Land because they could brand every product out of this place made in Quality Land, which would be economic success factor. I couldn't figure out any other way but to write for oneself. My first audience is myself, and I try to write a book that I would like, and then all is left that I can. I just hope that other people like it as well. I started out on stage, and that kind of sharpened my sense for timing. When I write now, the stage is still with me in some way. I just know how to build a punchline, you know. Even with Quality Land, I took some of it on stage and read it in front of an audience. And this is like one of the best editing processes, at least for humor, of course. If it's funny, it's funny. And if the people aren't laughing, it's not funny. And you don't have to argue with them. It's just not funny. And you have to try again. And very often, if that is the case, it isn't that the joke itself is bad, but that the timing is wrong. Comedy is so much about timing. I cannot stress that enough. It depends on the tendency of the joke. That means, what or who am I making fun of? I always try not to make fun of people that are already suffering. I wouldn't make jokes about minorities, or I always try to aim the tendency of the joke at the people who can take it, and the people who maybe need to take it. I think I have a very broad sense of what is political. The first question was who's in power, and I think this is not, there's no easy answer to this, because it's an interconnected system of diverse powers that, of course, have effects on each other. So, you know, there are some people who say the politicians, they don't have any powers, they're just puppets of the industrial magnates or stuff like that. And of course, there's a lot of influence going this way, but I'd say this is too simple, you know. It is much more complicated. And I know that people love to have easy answers. And I think this resurgence of conspiracy theories we have, partly, of course, just based on this desire to have a simple answer, someone who is in charge, someone who they can blame. And but there's, as I said, it's all interconnected, so it's complex. We're still at the very early stages, and so we started writing, and it's going to be a TV show, a series, so it's not going to be a movie. I felt that if we do a movie, we have to lose too much of the book. And if we do a TV show, we can add, and I thought that would be more interesting, you know. So at this point, we're doing the outlines of the episodes, and yeah, so it's pretty early on. Yeah, I guess Brazil might be an influence, though I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I am a huge fan of Terry Gilliam, so he'll always be an influence. I also love to read Kurt Vonnegut, and I like his style of combining very serious topics with very sharp humor. Obviously, whenever you write a dystopia, there's George Orwell. Whenever you write funny sci-fi, there's always Douglas Adams. But I guess there are a lot more influences, but there's not a single main influence, I'd say. I think there are about 30 translations or so at this point, and it's always exciting, and it's always very exciting to get the book and how they changed the cover, just to take a look at the words in a different language. To when you've written a book, you know it by heart, right? So you can just pick it up and you basically know what is in this chapter, and then you kind of understand a different language that you've never spoken or heard before, just by reading the first sentence of this chapter, and you know, it should say that. Oh, okay. Where there are some languages I kind of understand, and then there's English that I kind of speak, and I was working with the editor on the English translation, because it's the only other language apart from German that I thought I'm good enough to chip in. And then, of course, there's all those languages where you don't even know the symbols, right? There's a Chinese translation, and it's just fascinating for me to look at this. And I have no clue. I don't even know which chapter. It is really great to see that. And you have no idea what is in there. The translator could write about whatever she wants. I would never find out. There's a colleague of mine, he told me this story that in an Italian edition of one of his books, like 2 years after it was published, a reader told him, "Did you know there is a chapter in this Italian edition that is not in the German edition?" And he was like, "What?" And he didn't know. And the translator thought that the ending was too confused and people don't understand it. So he added a chapter in the middle of the book. I thought it was so funny. I'm very glad it was translated, and I hope you enjoy it. And if there are extra chapters I don't know of, I hope they're good.